Welcome back to our channel, Warriors. We are still growing. If you haven't had your comadre smash that subscribe button, go ahead and have her smash it right now. 12,700 subscribers and growing. More than halfway to 20K. Keep sharing this channel. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to the following patrons. Claudia, John Wick, Isaac, Miguel, Let Our Actions Lead Others, Big Bad 48, Nova, Jack, Linda, Michigan Wolverines, the homie Marius, Chevelle66, Abuelita's Journey, and Daus Herrero. If you haven't signed up at that Patreon, hit up that link in the description below. You're missing out. This episode right here is gonna be about Hector. Is it true or is it not true that a warden once built a bulletproof wall / bunker? Man, out of paranoia. Well, yeah, there was a barrier built for sure, 100%. Well, tell us about it, Hector. Here we go. At Donovan Prison, during that time frame I keep talking about, right? During that dictatorship, I was the public information officer, the PIO. So my office was right next to the warden's office, right next to the chief deputy warden's office, right there, right in the front, right in the middle of the snake pit, right? You got the vipers, you got the snake pit, your boy's right there looking like the crocodile hunter, right? Steve Irwin. I was also the crisis response team commander. I'm going to probably eventually make a video on how that even came about, right? Crisis response team commander. So now your boy is holding down probably two, if not the most important position, especially like lieutenant position in the prison, right? High up there in, not notoriety, but you get what I'm saying, right? So both jobs are they're both extremely stressful, right? And they require a lot of work, right? You just can't rest on your laurels. People depend on you. Comes with responsibility. So here we go, man. Here we go. This is when it went south, right? Well, it continued to go south. This is just adding fuel to that fire. I was not liked at all by that chief deputy warden. For whatever reason. Probably because I was very well versed in policy and procedure and had experience. This chief deputy warden at the time had never been in custody, had never been an officer, sergeant, lieutenant, or captain. This individual felt inferior because of that, right? This was a Saturday. My days off at that time were weekends, Saturday, Sunday, so I had to have been there on overtime, reflecting back, right? We had Crisis Response Team Training, CRT. At that time, there was an upcoming hostage negotiations course, right? Where we send dudes, if they're ready, to a course to get certified and become certified crisis hostage negotiators, right? Excellent training, difficult course, right? When I went, me and the homie were not prepared. We had to muscle through it, brain through it. It was a very difficult and challenging course. So when I became the commander, I'm like, hey, that's not going to happen again. We're not going to send people there up there unprepared. Not cool, right? Not cool for anybody. Just not a good look. So up in my little work area, I had the set of keys to get into the warden's. I never even tried that key to get into the warden's office. I had no business in there, would never even think of trying it. I don't know if I did or I didn't. Doesn't matter to me, right? I know I had a key to my office, a key to the warden's conference room. The conference room is different than the warden's actual office, right? The conference room is where everybody meets up. There's a big table, right? Looks like the Last Supper, right? You got a big TV. Important decisions got to be made there from time to time, right? And or regular meetings with the bigwigs, right? At that time, there was no barrier There was no wall with the door or a plexiglass, right? There was not at that time. This is a good one, man. Since I had the upcoming Negotiators Academy, my homie was a negotiations leader for our negotiations element. I told the dude, hey, we're gonna send 4 dudes, man. They hooked it up north. We're gonna send a lot of dudes, which is abnormal. 4 dudes, let's get them ready. Do your thing, man. I wasn't a micromanager. Never been a micromanager. Anybody could attest to that, right? I like to kick back and drink coffee. If you need me, break the glass. I said, take these dudes to the warden's conference room, the one with the conference table, and get them up to par, man. It's a perfect learning environment. I'm the PIO. I set this room up when it needed to be set up. I got the keys. It's Saturday. Ain't nobody tripping, right? There's a whiteboard, there's computers, there's monitors. Perfect learning environment, man. Better than your average, like, school. The dude's like, yeah, no problem, homie. Like, for sure, because that dude's sharp, too. That dude's a sharp individual. I go, unlock the door. He goes in there with his troops. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be at the range, right? Doing some tactical shooting, tactical movement, right? You got the different elements, right? And that's all I'm going to say about that. You got the dudes that can talk and the dudes that can shoot, but there's not dudes that can do both, right? That's right. That's okay. That's as far as I'm going to say on that. No, really, that's as far as I'm going to say on that, right? I'm not a micromanager. I don't got to babysit. I don't even got to check up. I have total confidence in the team, in the members, in the troops, right? Like, hey, forgot all about them, right? Handle your business. I'm over here handling ours, right? We're just chilling, doing our thing. Again, I say chilling, but we're training. 1 p.m. rolls around, man. The homie comes back. That negotiation leader comes back to the range. I said, hey, how'd it go, man? Oh, everything went good, except the chief stopped by. It was like a ghost flooded my face. I'm like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, what do you mean the chief stopped by? Oh, yeah. She said she forgot her laptop. She came to pick it up, so everything's cool. I said, homie, everything is not cool, right? Because I knew they're get down. They're snakes. They're vindictive. It's a Saturday. I said, homie, it's not cool. I reached down right here up in the front. I had my state cell phone, the one that got issued to me, on my belt. I get it. I look. Oh, my God. Sure enough, right? Because I always think ahead. And I knew what he was telling me, adding up the circumstances, the lady that was there when she wasn't supposed to be, right? Boom. An email from the warden with the chief deputy warden CC'd immediately. I want memorandums as to who was allowed inside the incident command post, the warden's conference room, why they were allowed in there, who gave them authorization, why they were left unsecured, who authorized the overtime. I want you to add up the number of overtime hours that were incurred by you and your staff, and holy my heart dropped, right? My heart dropped because that was just another tactic on their end, another way of controlling, right? It was a dictatorship. They were playing their little sleazeball, slimeball games, right? And this was like clearly evident. All right, now they're coming after me, right? And I'll tell you guys the reason why they were coming after me, right? Because they hired me on to go up into the front. They thought I was gonna do their bidding, like every other buffoon under their belt. I'm not that, right? I got morals, ethics, and values. Previously to that, we had a crisis response team trial for new members to try out. There was an individual they did not particularly care for at all. They made it very clear. As a matter of fact, there's a couple videos on this, right? The individual passed everything, right? Pretty much with flying colors, meaning like, hey, they gave it their all. They were cut out for the for the next portion of the phase, right? The assessment process. They did not like that individual. I don't care. I don't play the politics. They passed it. They showed heart. Boom. You're going to get, I'm going to sign off on it. They were not cool with it. They viewed me now as the enemy. This dude's not on board. This dude's not going with, right? That's how now they're coming after me. You guys are seeing how this is going, right? Grimy ass vatos. Shouldn't be happening, right? Shouldn't be happening. They should be focusing on running a prison, providing rehabilitation programs to the inmate populations, ensuring that that the institution is safe and secure, right? All of this in the public's eye, everything. But no, they got to be gunning for power, right? Power. Who has the power now, right? Felt like yelling like an Ultimate Warrior, like a Hulk Hogan thing. I just might before the end of the video. I had to let the crisis, the CRT members know, and it felt bad, man. We were all in the bleachers. It had already been a man. This story is gonna get good right now. I can see where this is going. It had already been a downhill spiral. I let them know they got to write memorandums. They almost quit the team right then and there, and I don't blame them. They're like, this is BS. What is their problem? All we're doing is training, blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, they were eating. It was like, trust me, when we train, whatever you have in your pocket or if you have a meal, you're going to eat, right? I was trying to bring that back from like the military. So this lady ended up coming with her husband, right, onto the grounds. I don't know how she caught wind. There's cameras in there. Maybe she was observing from home. I don't know. She made up some lie that she forgot her laptop. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she did forget her laptop. Either way, the whole thing was suspicious. Of course, her being a snake, she lets the warden know, right? Let's come after me. Me. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't feel like I did anything wrong. I wasn't tripping. As a matter of fact, I made phone calls up high to ensure that I was cool, right? Because I was kind of confused, upset and confused. Boom. Hey, you're good, man. This is probably a misunderstanding. Get it sorted out. Cool. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, hey, I don't want to be up here anymore, right? I don't want to be PIO. I want to go back, right? I want to go back. Me and the warden, we had some words. I'll tell you guys, right? I'll tell you guys right now. That Monday came around. That was on a Saturday. I walked into his office in the morning and I said, sir, can I get a word with you? And he was on his computer like this, didn't give me the time or day. He said, hold on. And I'm like, all right, I see what this dude's doing now. He's making me wait. I see this. He fucking finally turns around. I said, hey, sir, did I do something wrong? He goes, yeah, you did. Right? Like dictator trying to impose on me. Well, what did I do? Well, you left your staff members in here unsecured. I'm like, hey, sir, like, I'm the PIO. I didn't think there was a problem. Like, these dudes are going to the academy. Like, this is necessary. Like, we train in here. Like, when something cracks off, we're gonna be in here. Like, this is the ideal training thing. This dude wasn't having it, right? So I said, hey, sir, can I keep it real? This dude did let me keep it real when I said, can I keep it real? He goes, yeah, what's up? I said, hey, sir, if that chief deputy warden felt that there was a security breach then and there, she should have told my guys, get your shit and get the fuck out of here. It's the truth. She allowed them to remain inside of that training area. She allowed them, right? So it wasn't about the security breach because anybody, military, law enforcement, anybody who's anybody, a high school teacher, anybody knows that if there's a security breach, first thing you do is stop the security breach. She didn't. That wasn't the end goal, right? The end goal was to be vindictive. So he's like, oh, well, she didn't know if I had given her authority or not. I'm like, man, like, whatever. Like, miss me with all that, right? Whatever. Boom. So how did the bulletproof door come up? Well, it wasn't necessarily bulletproof. I'll keep it real with you guys. The department is grimy, right? If you have higher ups using moles, gophers, and rats at the lower level, fishing for information, somebody just might be smart enough to man, this was actually genius on that person's part. He purposely told that mole something, knowing that the mole was gonna go back and tell the higher ups, number one and number two, right? So it was kind of funny. It was kind of cool because everything made sense, right? So the individual I'm talking about, the sharp dude, tells the mole, "Hey man, I don't know why they were tripping. They're dumb. Don't they know that we're up there training for them? If something cracks off, they're not gonna come after us. They love us. At the troop level, everybody loves us. They hate those two. Those two will be like the ones that are gonna get got." Like he told him kind of like straight up, like, "Hey man, we're training for worst case scenario in the prison in the ideal place. Like, hey, we're nobodies on the line. We don't have targets on it. We're cool. They're the ones that are doing like the crazy stuff, right? So that like they might have a problem. Who knows, right?" That person runs back, tells them. Simultaneously, I tell them I'm out. So I go back to the line. They built that wall, right? That bunker. Talk about paranoia. First of all, I know damn well they didn't bring it up to fire code or Cal Fire or anything like that because the fire chief, I was like, "Hey, what's up with that?" He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, right? Like, pretty much emphasizing, like, dude's on his own trip, right? Of course, we're shooting out words up and down the state to our partners and homies, like, "Hey, this dude, like, put up a barrier, man. Like, that's unheard of, right?" Like, the bosses say, like, open door policy. Well, this was not anything like that. This was paranoia. Like Hitler's last stand, right? Remember Hitler's last stand when the American troops were closing in on him? Wild. Wild, wild, wild. Thankfully, when that warden bounced and the new one came in, one of the first things he did was remove that barrier. That was a good thing. That was a good thing, right? Totally unnecessary, totally weird, just off the wall stuff, man, that we had to endure. Richard J. Donovan, right? So again, if you haven't signed up for that Patreon, sign up in the description below. You don't want to be missing out. The message for today, man, is just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. If you do the right thing, you don't got to be like paranoid, looking over your shoulder, looking over your back, right? That dude had to put up a wall because of his actions, his thoughts, and craziness, man. So with that, keep pushing forward.